Hello and welcome to another speed build. My name's Jess and today I'm building in Windenburg on a 20 by 20 lot, and as you can see this is a little Christmas card shop. So this is intended to be more of a tiny house than it is to be like a retail shop, because this is very tiny and everything's very squishy. But if that is what you want to do, I will definitely make it functional or do my best to. There is a chance I won't be able to make that happen, but I think I was able to leave just enough room that it should work. But anyways, you can see the shape kind of coming together, and this idea actually kind of came from me thinking about like what I think would make like a good Hallmark movie. And I thought someone being like a little Christmas card author in the woods would be really cute. Even though, of course, it would be so crazy to drive all the way out to the woods, like the country area, just for Christmas cards. But you know what? It's The Sims, it's creative liberties, and obviously I think it would be super fun in game. But you can see I went for a really rustic kind of whimsical look. And I really struggled to bring this together initially because I was really set on the idea of having like white walls and red and green accents, because I really wanted this to come through that it's like a Christmas build. But yeah, I really struggled. I kept coming back to this build because I loved the shape of it. So I knew, I was like, there's gotta be a way I can make this work. But I just went back and forth on every different color scheme that I think imaginable with the different greens and reds that we have in windows and doors. But yeah, nothing was really working, and it definitely makes me realize we don't have a lot of options. Now, to be fair, have I ever really looked for red and green windows and doors before? I think I've used like that swatch maybe like twice when building, so I understand, but it was kind of a bummer for this build in particular. But anyways, when I went to do something a little more rustic, that's when it really started coming together. So all that to say, I love this build. I love the shape of it. I love the different textures I used, and using those windows from Get Together just like tied it all perfectly together. And that door that matches the cottage living wallpaper so well. Incredible. Like everything just came together once I changed up the wallpaper. Anyways, you can see here I'm working on adding a waterfall, and that's because I wanted to add in the wheel, which I'm totally blanking on what that's actually called. But you'll see it a little bit later. I can't remember at all what that's called, but the little wheel that moves the water. So I wanted there to be a waterfall to make it look like, you know, that motion would happen. And it took me quite a while, so I ended up doing it off screen. And that's one from Discover University. And so it doesn't have like a top piece. So I did have to, it blends in the end, but it's not perfect. You can see the gap, and I think here you can see, yeah, so we just jumped because it was taking me so long. So I just fixed up all the rocks and all of that and got them lowered into the ground, because I figured you wouldn't want to necessarily see me do a ton with the tool mod. But yeah, so you can see there's just that sliver of the waterfall, and I think ultimately it will be like a really nice effect. So I was committed to trying it, but it took me quite a while. But yeah, so I really like how that ended up, and hopefully you'll like it in your game. But of course, you can delete it really easily if it bothers you that it doesn't quite match up to the actual water line of the upper pool. Anyways, I have so much on my mind, but you can see we're really, here's the wheel. So yeah, remind me in the comments what that's called. I can't think of it at all. But if you're wondering where that's from the Cottage Living live edit. Yeah, live edit. And there's two different options, so really great. The Cottage Living live edit is easily my favorite. I almost always go there initially to start my landscaping, just because it's so lovely. But here you can see, so we got all the different trees. I got to use all my favorites from werewolves. I really love one of them in particular because it has pine cones on it. And I just think that's so, so cute. So I love those little details. But yeah, so you can see we're starting on the basic landscaping. And what I wanted to do, because I wasn't able to add in those red accents to the build itself, or the actual building, I really wanted to bring that through with all the flowers that I used. So you will see this is just cluttered up with red flowers in just a moment. But first you can see me, of course, adding the green. And so I just went around and tried to like blend the rocks into the landscape just to make it look a little bit more natural. And I actually used this bush a lot, which is actually like the pea bush from werewolves. But I thought it worked really well and has a very foresty kind of vibe. So, you know, if it works, it works. And then I also used the one from Get Together as well, since it had those like red heart flowers on it. So it's just funny. I never really considered using it, and I can't remember what builder it was, but they used it in their build, and I'm like, I don't know why I don't go to these bushes because they're actually really cute. And they fill in the space well, and they actually clip to the ground, which is really, really nice and helpful. So I don't have to use the tool mod quite as much. So here you can see I'm just adding in lots of the red pieces, and this is definitely my favorite flower. I believe it's from Romantic Garden, which I think is free now. So if you don't have that pack, I can't remember what that level of pack is called right now, but I think you can download it. But it has my favorite flower, which is the hollyhock. I just think it looks so beautiful, and it has so many swatches, so it works for a lot of different style of builds. But here we are moving on to some of the terrain paint, but I do end up doing quite a bit of that off camera, again, just because it is a little tedious to watch, I think. So I am just putting together some of these finishing touches, and then we will start in on like the exterior of this build. But I did think it looked a little empty at the front of this build, and I still have that thing where like it feels like I need to add something. So when you download it, it might change. I've tried a few different things, but still haven't quite found something that works for me. But anyways, we're moving on to the interior of the shop. Let's see. Yes. Okay. So no, we're going to start on the outside. Okay. I was surprised by that because I'm like, I'm pretty sure I didn't do that until I finished the outside. So I use this sign from Get Together to be kind of like the card shop sign. And it is normally one that like sticks out from the wall, but I really wanted it to be flat to the wall. So I just used the tool mod to do that, and I think it looks really nice. And I wanted something that had that rustic element, and we didn't really have that in just a normal wall sign that we have in game. So here you can see I'm using the little holly pieces that normally you set on the table, but I flipped them around so it could be more of a garland because I did want this to be more rustic. And I actually saw Devin Bumpkin do this on one of his recent videos, and I thought it was a great idea. So I had to steal it because I think that actually like the garlands in the game, but you can see it there. The green is a little more yellowy, and I wanted something that kind of had that more deep green to it. So yeah, I think this works really, really well. And I'm really happy with the effect of it. So I'm very happy that I watched that video. It's always nice to like learn from other builders how to make your builds even better. Yeah, I just love it. And yeah, it has been so fun to just be really excited to build. And I had so many ideas for like the holiday season, but I just didn't have the time to do them, which if you are a builder, you know that is like so exciting and such a gift because there are times where just you can't think of anything. You're so creatively like unsure. of what to do. So I'm really glad that I had a ton of different ideas. One that I really wanted to do, and if there's someone out there who would do it, I would love to see it. I started it, so I actually copied the present stack from Seasons, and I was going to make present apartments that you could live in. But yeah, I wasn't able to finish it, but I thought that would be really fun and just kind of silly. I don't know if it would be the most playable build. Of course, like I would make it so your Sims could use it. Anyways, maybe next year I'll get to it. But yeah, so I added in a few things you can see to just bring through the like Christmas vibe. And I did struggle to figure out what exactly to put here. But then I added in a Christmas tree right in the middle, and I think that really balanced things out. And you'll see in the final shots, I had a sim put on popcorn and cranberry, and so I think it just adds to the rustic kind of feel. And I also, in builds like this, I always make sure to add in the object from Cottage Living that has, it's like the wild rabbit home and the flock of birds home, something like that. Because I just think in builds like this that are more like rustic and in the more like country area, I think it's so cute to have birds and rabbits running around. So I'm always sure to add those. But yeah, so here you can see we're headed to the inside of the shop. So of course this is a Christmas card shop, so that is going to be the majority of what's in here. And again, this is small, so I did have to be mindful of what could actually fit. But I thought it would be fun by the cash register to have some like present packaging. So like, you know, you could send it home all packaged up, even though again, you wouldn't wrap a Christmas card. But yeah, I really like how this turned out. I actually do change that chalkboard because I remember the one we have from Cottage Living that has a little candle on it, and I just thought it was perfect. So that will change in the final shots. But yeah, so you can see this starting to come together. And I do make a few changes as I go because I wanted to get a good balance of that more, I don't know if you would say like the tan wood color, with also bringing in red elements to bring the Christmassy color together, and then the color of the counter I wanted to be reflected in the build and have some balance. So yeah, here you can see I'm hanging up the little Christmas card, I don't know, garlands. I'm not sure what you would call that exactly. And this is when I was like really excited with the direction of where this build was going. And here you can see we did a little jump because I was just having such difficulty deciding on the desk. So I just kind of grabbed the things out I wanted to do, and I did end up going with this one from Paranormal just because, I mean, come on, it looks like Santa's desk. So it was too perfect for this build. And then that bookshelf is actually from Werewolves. And I thought putting it at a little bit of an angle just made it look fun and a little bit of just a more cluttered space. Like I always think of these builds like the sim who owns this shop and stuff would be, I think, very artistic and wouldn't need it to be all perfect, you know? And so I really liked the idea that there was just like a bunch of inspiration in the stacks of books. But yeah, so here you can see this is going to be where the Christmas cards are and there they are. And those are probably the only ones that will work to restock if you do play this as a retail. So those three right there. But I do think, you know, obviously selling cards won't make your sim a lot of money. So this is a passion kind of shop. Your sim would just have to be passionate about it. But yeah, you can see on this one, I added in a few more decor pieces, and I thought, you know, just a couple extra things maybe a Christmas shop like this would sell. And of course we have some beautiful pieces from Seasons and from the holiday pack that just like kind of carry it through. And I love that I was able to add some Christmas crackers. I think that's really cute. So I just cluttered up the shelves with some more Christmas cards. And again, I had to do that with like a lot of tools, so I just skipped through that, but I really love the effect of it. And then I remembered we had bows, so I wanted to add them by the packaging because, I just thought it was cute. And then I thought it might be helpful to have a trash can down there, so I added that in. But here you can see we're moving on to the second level. And yeah, I'm just finding different items that I thought carried through some of the colors I wanted up there. And I did want to have a few plants and just bring in, honestly, I did a lot of color sorting. And so I looked for lots of green and red to add into this build. And I think it came together really nicely. That plant, I always forget about it because it's from Journey to Batu. But it's so cute. It works so well for like cottagey builds. So yeah, it just added like the perfect little element to this build. But yeah, so we're quickly adding onto the bathroom. And again, it's a tiny house, so it's a very tiny bathroom. But I think will work very well for your Sims. And I actually really like how this bathroom came together. I think that it has like that perfect balance of like, I think there's just enough clutter because it's hard to do in a tiny bathroom, but I think it feels homey. But yeah, so here you can see we are adding in some of the the kitchen elements. And I did, of course, have to go with the cottage living counters, or cottage living. That's not it. Cottage, is that what it is? No, not cottage living. What is, oh my God, I can't think of I'm pretty sure I've already said it in this voiceover, but I can't think of it. So anyways, I love those red swatches, so I had to use those counters, of course. And oh, I just realized though I didn't add an oven, so I am gonna have to change out that piece where the fridge is and add an oven. I knew there was something weird about the kitchen. Okay, but you can see we added in a little table, a little sitting area. And then I did, try to work in a lot of elements that work well for a tiny house, like having these little cubbies for the shoes. Like I think being able to find a balance between clutter and also allowing your sim to like navigate through a tiny house is always important. So I actually do change out that TV for a fireplace because I just thought it would match the vibe of this house a little bit better. But we're actually coming to the end of this build. So I really hope you enjoy it, but most of all, I want to thank you so much for your support. It's been so fun to make videos again, and I just hope you have a safe and wonderful holiday season. Thank you so much for watching, and I will probably be seeing you in the new year. So, bye!